Hey everybody, Zee Garcia here. Today we're going to be taking a look at a very simple and attractive set collection card game, Subastral. In this game, you're supposed to be a researcher who is taking notes on these different biomes, and that really translates to you playing cards out to the center of this display and then acquiring some other cards. They either go to your hand or you collect them in front of you, which is how you score in the game. It's a pretty straightforward concept. Let me show you how it works and what it looks like, and I'll see you on the other side. Here we have a game set up for 3 players. We're going to shuffle up the deck, removing some cards based on the number of players. Everybody gets a hand of 3, and then we display out these clouds, and every one of them gets 1 card. Then we reveal 2 more and put them where they numerically go. The 4 on the 4, the 6 on the 6 over here. Then you're ready to begin. So the way the game works is you are going to be playing cards out here, acquiring others that will go either into your hand or onto the table in front of you, and you're going to be scoring points at the end of the game based on the ones you collected on the table in front of you. We'll get to scoring a little bit later on. I'll clear this away and show you how that works. But for now, let me take you through a couple of turns, okay? So this is my hand here. You'll see the cards have different biomes, and they have a number of dots below the number itself that show you 1, 2, or 3 dots, which is the frequency of the cards, how many there are in the deck, okay? With the ones that have 3 dots being more prevalent in the deck. The ones with a single dot, there are fewer of those. So in a 3-player game, the ones with the 3 dots, there's 10 of them, and only 7 of these with a single dot. So what do I do on my turn? Well, my turn has 3 parts. Step 1, I take a card from my hand and I play it somewhere where the number matches. If you don't have any cards in your hand, which you should definitely avoid, you just draw a card from the top of the deck and your turn is over. So don't do that. So I'm going to pick one of these and I'm going to play it somewhere. So let's say I play it onto the number 2 cloud here with the 2 on it, okay? Then I am going to select a different cloud and take those cards. Where they go depends on where that stack of cards is in relation to the one where I played. So I played here. If I take any of the ones to this side, they're going to go on the table in front of me and I'll arrange them into a pattern in order to score them. If I take any to the other side, they're going to go in my hand, okay? And I will draw anything that's there, put it in my hand, plus 1 from the deck. So I play it in here. I'm going to go ahead and take these here. And again, I arrange them on the table in front of me, something like that, okay? Then I'm done. And we are going to, so that was step 1 is playing the card, step 2 was taking something, and step 3 is refilling this. We draw a card, it goes into the empty spot, and then I need to check that at least 2 stacks out here have at least 2 cards. If that's true, and it is, this one has 2, this one has 2, then I'm done. If that's not true, I need to reveal another card and put it on the matching number and check again. And again, if I have 2 on at least 2 places, I'm good. If not, I'll continue drawing and making sure that that's valid, that is true. So I'm done with that, and it'll be the next player's turn. So they're going to take a look at their hand. They have a 1, a 4, and a 5 here. They are going to play on the 4, and then they're going to take this pile and they're going to add it to their hand because, again, it is to the left. It's upside down to me, but anyway, to the left of the one where they played. So these go into that player's hand, plus 1 from the deck, and then we replenish that. There's 2 that have at least 2. We're good. It's the next player's go, okay? There's one special rule when it comes to taking cards, and that is if you play on the 6 or you play on the 1, because there's nothing to the other side of those, if you take from the exact opposite of that one, so let's say I play to the 1, if I choose to take from the 6, I can take either choice. I can either put them in my hand and draw an extra 1, or I can put them on the table. And that is explained right on the cloud right here. So this is the 1 cloud. It tells me if I go this way, I put them on the table in front of me. But if it comes from me having played on cloud 6, I can choose either thing, hand or right on the table. And the 6 cloud does the same thing, okay? There you go. So if I played on the 6, if I played on the 1 and I'm taking the 6 here, then I do either thing, all right? So there you go. That's the way that works. Let me go ahead and fast forward here to just what one player's table might look like at the end of the game so I can explain scoring to you. So it's the end of the game, and these are the cards I've got in front of me. As I collected new cards in the game, I played them to the beginning of this display. So this would be the first card I collected, and after that, let's say I got these two at the same time. I got to choose the order in which I played them. So I played this one first, then this one. As I got any further cards that already matched the biome I had, they just went below that. So new ones went this way, matching ones just went below, okay? And by the way, here on the back of the rulebook, they tell you how many cards of each type there are based on the number of players. I said earlier it was like 10 and 7, but that changes based on which suit we're talking about. Some have 10 with 3 players. Some have 9. Some have, 5. Some are rarer, okay? And that, again, that's going to be different based on the number of players because a chunk of cards are removed when you play with 4, when you play with 3, and so on. So down here is the scoring on this back of the rulebook, and there's 2 kinds of scoring you're going to be dealing with. You'll be doing mixed sets, and you'll be doing matching sets. Now, what are mixed sets? Well, you're going to be looking at your lines across and scoring them until you get to a gap. And then at that point, you score only what you got up to, okay? So the top will always be your longest one, or matching the longest one. So in this case, I've got 6 different ones here. And for a set of 6, I get 21 points. The next line, I have all of these, but it stops at this one. So it's really just a set of 2. And for a set of 2, I'm going to get 3 points. If I'd been able to get another one of these right here below it, I would have scored a set of 4. And below that, I don't even have one in the first spot, so nothing there. The set breaks immediately, and nothing down here. So again, I'm scoring 21 for this, and I'm scoring for these 2 cards 3 points. The other scoring is the matching sets, and you're going to score your 2 largest matching sets. In this case, I'm scoring this one, and I'm scoring this one. If there was a tie, I would, the game scores then the furthest one to the beginning of your display. And you're going to score a number of points per card in your 2 biggest sets equal to the position of that card for each. What does that mean? Well, this is first, second, third, fourth card here, and I have 4 of them, so each one's worth 4 points for 16 points. For this one, which is my second card in, each one's worth 2, 4, 6 points. That's your score, and they do give you, in the game, a little scoring pad that tells you mixed sets, and then matching set 1, matching set 2, and then your total below that. So there you go. That's how the scoring works for the game, and that's pretty much everything you need to know about how the game works. Let's go back up top. Let me tell you what I think of it. Every now and then we get a game, especially card games, it happens sometimes, where the game feels like a classic. It feels like the kind of game that's been around for a while, right? And you play it and you immediately feel comfortable with it. You understand how it works. Nothing has been overcomplicated by the designers kind of getting in the way of something that feels traditional in many ways. And this is another one of those. It feels like something that you've played before in a good way, right? Something that isn't, it's not that it's derivative, it's that it feels immediately comfortable, like an old piece of clothing you're used to wearing, something like that. I think this is one of those games. Let's go ahead and talk about it. The theme doesn't really make a lot of sense. Researchers are supposed to be taking notes on these different biomes, but then you're playing these cards. But I'm giving it a thumbs up because this is the kind of game that could easily have been also colors and numbers. A colors and numbers card game, which I often reference. But I think the extra little bit of purpose and intent here is appreciated. I think it works. Can you use it to teach the game? Not really. But I don't think it hurts. I think it makes the game a little bit lovelier. And speaking of lovelier, the aesthetics are lovely. The illustrations are very nicely done. Good quality components. Compact box. Scoring pad in there is a nice touch. So from that point of view, very well put together. The replay value. Again, I talked about how it kind of feels like a classic card game. So It's comfortable. It's easy to bring back to the table. And it is not one that's going to play out exactly the same every time. So the replay value stays high for me. I like it. The game arc. It plays quickly. It evolves as you discover the game from session to session. And I love the fact that in the game, you have to manage your hand of cards. This is the kind of design that in a lesser designer's, there's multiple designers, but in lesser designers' hands, would have been the kind of game where it's, on your turn, draw a card, then play one, then collect something from another pile. That sounds okay, But in this one, you need to manage what you're holding in your hand also. So it's this two-step process of, I want to have this number in my hand so I can play it. I also don't want to run out of cards in my hand, because that's sort of, you burn a turn by doing that. But every time you replenish your hand, you're not taking something that you will score eventually. It's a delicious little moment where you have to consider, maybe I'll just put these into my hand. I'm not, I don't want those colors necessarily as much as some other colors. I need new cards. I need flexibility in the numbers I'm holding. All of those things, I think, really work well. The ease of play, it's easy. It's good. Easy to explain, easy to understand. Maybe the scoring you might have to teach a couple of times, but once it clicks, you've got it. And then lastly, tactics, luck, and strategy. And here's where I have a little bit of a problem with the game, because I saw this happen and it was unfortunate, okay? Sometimes, because of that replenish rule, where if there aren't at least two stacks, two piles of cards that have two, it might not happen, right? So you need to flip a card over and add it where it goes. Usually that card then creates a second pile with two cards, and you're good. But sometimes, just sometimes, you're going to get a run of a number. So let's say I have the numbers 1 through 6. They all have one card except for 6 has 2. And this is at the end of my turn. So I need to replenish something. Then I flip over a card and it's another 6. So I put it on the 6 and there's still not 2 piles with 2 cards. So I flip over another card and it's another 6. And then I flip over another card and that one's a 3. Okay, boom. There we go. Done. Well, now the next player has a really fantastic pile of cards right there. And they will probably take it. And that gives them twice as much as a usual turn will give you, right? A couple of cards. They're getting 4. So that feels a little unfortunate, and like the luck just sort of screwed you over a little bit, okay? It's a minor thing. It's not going to happen every game, of course, but it could happen, and it makes, and I've seen players when they do that well, it's like, wow, that was really fortunate. That didn't feel fair, So that's my only little iffy sort of thing. I think the game, other than a little bit of the luck being perhaps a problem, is fun and interesting, and I love the push and pull between scoring a variety and making sure you don't leave those gaps if you intend to do that, or just saying, okay, I'm going to focus instead of making a long same set deep into my display. Like if you do something like that where you can get like 5 cards of the same one on, say, your 5th card in, that's 25 points for that. That's huge, So I really like that those two things are kind of at odds with each other, and you have to figure out how to do well, ideally, at both a varied set across and a long set that's deep into your display. So overall, this is really nice. It's not revolutionary, which is sort of comes hand in hand with that whole traditional card game feel, but I really like it. It's comfort food, It is lovely, attractive, engaging, short to play, easy to understand. It's so easy to sort of just shuffle up and get going. You do your scoring, you feel like you enjoyed yourself. So yeah, thumbs up from me. This is going to get a strong 8 out of 10 from me. Seal of approval. I recommend it if this is your jam. If you want a card game to take to a family gathering, perhaps folks that already love gaming, folks that don't really do a lot of gaming, they know you play games, but they're not really into it. This is something that is going to appeal to something that they like. the look of the cards, nature theme. They're used to playing rummy or something like that, so they understand card collecting and sort of card management. This is very pleasant. So there you go. That is Subastral. Thumbs up from me, like I said. My name is Zee Garcia, and I'll see you on the next one.